Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test.
Decide what you want to do.
We could even put it on the floor,
Yeah, well,
so it doesn't take up. too much.
right. So whoever is going to be speaking could be right there.
Yeah, and then we
You
can
can make.
just.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, how are you doing?
Good. So, are you going to be using the overhead projector?
No, no.
Okay. Well, you want to put that on the table then?
Over there?
Yeah.
Would that be all right?
Sure. Yeah, okay.
You can either just move this over here and reposition the camera.
Yeah, oh,
And
that's
just put that
perfect.
right in the middle.
Yeah,
And I'll flip the camera around this way.
and we just put these on here like this.
Yeah.
That's just little cards that
Uh-huh.
we leave on here for people to take.
Okay.
And, it tells what we need, what we put in those bags. Over here. Hi.
Feel free.
Yeah, so we can just, I'll put it right over there.
All right,
on
it's free
that
enough?
table. Yeah, that's enough, that's good.
It looks like church, doesn't it?
Kind of.
And we'll wait for Mitch to come in to see where we sit, because I don't know.
Or D?
Oh, yeah, Dee. Mitch.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think,
how are you?
I think this is good.
Well, we're kind of visual people, aren't we? I am.
Yeah,
I'm very visual, very. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, right? Like it.
So when we get to that point, you want to talk about content, you would rather talk about content.
you want to talk about what?
Contents.
Yeah, but you can do that.
Yeah, you can do it. You-
Is that all right? Well,
Hey, here it is.
Hey.
Hi, Nick.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Richard, how are you? Fine.
Morning, how are you, sir?
Good. We need to find a place.
Yeah, where do you want us to
Where do you want us? You select one, I guess.
Let me go down first.
You're gonna be speaking from there.
Hello, Lee.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. You doing okay?
It's our program today coming in, so.
Got a nice setup already.
Are you doing a presentation?
Very well.
I'm not sure.
Mitch is.
Are you doing a presentation on? No, I don't think that. Okay.
No, we're not doing it on the.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to know. I see you brought the Christmas tree. All right. Why don't we just join you guys here? Why don't we?
Welcome to our hair.
All right.
Oh, that's perfect.
You haven't seen that.
That's perfect. He's here. Laura.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Good.
You doing
I'm
okay?
here. Yes. Not really, but I'm okay. We need a good card.
Yes, that'd be cool.
Here.
We'll put it on that. Thank you.
Okay, I'll join you there. I mean, we're all sit here if you want to. I mean, that's you. Just pick your place. Okay. good.
Hey, Kathy, how are you? I'm good. Good. Hey, good to see you. I'm so sad.
Hey, Jen. How are you?
We were out of town for one night, always. A year in advance. Yeah, thanks.
I'm good. How are you?
Where's it?
Hello. How are you?
So I'm pretty, hey Mike, how are you? Oh, we did. Right, so years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but some things look well, but anyway. But the 10th is when it's stressing. So I'm gonna see if I can get somebody maybe the 3rd.
That'd be awesome.
Mom. Oh, you did, tell me about it. The different times.
Get some lunch for yourself.
All right. I'll let you know, or
Planned it that way.
I did not.
No, we didn't. We certainly didn't.
Okay, I'll give you credit. Just this one.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, you don't have to play the hand that you dealt, you deal with it.
And you deal with it.
I know, that's not where
And then, I try to sit in different places.
Absolutely.
But I've never seen this get in the pool. Marquetta, it's been trying forever. I've never seen it before.
How are you?
Undercoat. Yeah, oh, you rolled right with it. It was crazy. But it was fun. It was amazing. Hey, how is the mom? Is she doing good? I thought I said, maybe we finished today. She did. It was well, I mean, yeah, look, you didn't look stressed. We train around.
So then you probably don't know that, I didn't know him. So he said that I received people said we would go through something in 85.
Well, you want your dogs to have old.
Yeah, so. Anyway, he's been wonderful.
I said, that's not what
I don't know, stayed home 23 days.
Probably not about that today, huh?
I may be the only one that read it.
Probably.
Probably.
No, don't say that, but you're probably right.
I bet you missed that last week. I wanted to go, but I didn't want to take off 23 days.
And it was like, it just took care of it.
Mom said, like, good.
Hey, how are you? He's a smart kid. She is in high school. No, she was in middle school. They're very different. And other than that, it's not my greatest cup of tea. Other than that, I'm good. Oh, yeah. Kathy, you know that Kathy and I have a weird legacy of how this works. So Kathy's mom and my mom both scare stuff to do that. And Kathy babysat us. Kathy's daughter, I don't think I ever babysat her. I don't quite know any babysat. Take care of it back, my kids.
That's no more.
I take credit for all of you. Hey, look. I say all the time. Yeah, thank you. That's the reason they're not themselves. It's because they have. Oh, You gotta come to whenever you. I know. Well, I'm kind of screwed in here because I have another meeting. We just started in 2019. We just started in 2019, yeah. From 7:15 to 1, yeah.
I know you work hard.
Well, whenever you get a minute, just holler. You got my number. Just holler and come over. It'll take about an hour. And all about the project. So you should be here. Yeah, whatever. Just whatever. But it's just a big project. I'll the rest of the city council knows about it. And I want to know. Yes. You may have to be like that. Yeah, he's already heard, he's on that advisory committee before he was a part of the. So he's heard.
But I like mine to put certain kind of food.
We'll get it.
Okay.
Just let me know when.
Okay.
How you doing? Good, how are you?
You got a place there?
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of LaGrange on Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation to be given by Holly Winter.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, thank you for this day and this spring weather we've had. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to gather here today at Rotary and providing an opportunity to fellowship, learn, and grow. Thank you for the impact Rotary makes on our community and the world. Bless our time together and every person here. Amen.
Thank you, Holly. And also please keep in your prayers the family of Sandra Bowie, who's one of our members. Her daughter Cindy is going for treatments, I think, at the end of this week in Houston. Is when they're leaving. So please keep the whole family in your prayers. Scott will now come introduce her. Oh, Dee will. Never mind.
We have done that.
That's right.
Other than our.
Yep. So Dee will introduce at that time. Birthdays, Jake Jones had one yesterday, the 21st. Club anniversaries, Jaja is 7 years on Friday. And I'm going to go ahead and announce some for next week because next week is our combined meeting for the Azalea Storytelling Festival, be combined with Lions Club and also guests from Kiwanis and Optimists. So we will kind of have not our usual spiel that I do, and we'll move quickly to the speaker since that's who everybody will be here to see, and it's Donald Davis, who's been here before, and so you definitely don't want to miss that. That's always a big treat. So on with even going into next week, we have member anniversaries. Yvonne is 7 years on Friday, and then next week, Kay Minshew and Karis Ackery will be 31 years on Wednesday, March 1st. So a big one for those. Bill Stump, 17 years next Wednesday. Carlton Wood, a week from tomorrow, will be 18 years. And Judy Freeman, 4 years next Tuesday, although I think she had an earlier stint dating way back, close to our 100-year anniversary. But anyway, so she's been here longer than her current 4-year stint. Winning anniversaries, Mike and Jan Angstadt were 35 years on Monday. And Drew and Jill Gay, 22 years this Friday. And Tabitha and is it Shedrick? 7 years this Sunday. Congratulations to all of y'all. Thanks to everybody that participated in the parade. Dr. Gordon, if you missed him, had a great time. It was very fun, very colorful, tons of fun by everybody. Many of you were here. I couldn't begin to name everybody. Raise your hand if you were there in some capacity, because I know there was, yeah, doing something, whether it was driving cars or actually in a float or just helping out. So thank you all for that. It was a really fun time. The district conference, I put the wrong date for Jeff to put in. It's not April 7th through the 30th, so it's not 23 days long. It's April 27th through the 30th, so only 3 days. So if you would like to attend, I mean, you could go down to 7th if you want, but we won't be there. Let us know, that's coming up. Board meeting today, as you can tell from the seating over there. And then the March board meeting will be on the 22nd. So that's also bumped back a week from the normal time for the March meeting. As I mentioned, the Storytelling Festival presentation is next week. District Training Assembly, March 25th. Getting close to the time that if you don't tell Barbara, you can't go. Okay, so you need to tell her quickly that you can go. And don't forget the annual banquet on the June 15th. These are on your tables for the very last time. And they're so lonely. So make them happy and fill them up one last time. Did I forget anything? Anybody? Okay. Nope. Yes, Barbara. What was I supposed to do?
Birthdays for next week?
I did not do birthdays. Who's got a birthday?
Shirley Pennebaker is March 1st.
March 1st. And how old is she?
It's a big one though.
Okay. It's an important milestone.
Yes.
For her. Okay, good. All right. Happy dollars, anybody? Come on up.
So the last couple of weeks, I've been in Uganda and just had a great time there. We were following up Political Harvest on microfinance loans that we use to help orphans that have aged out of school to start businesses. And so we saw some where those orphans were able to start businesses and start employing other orphans, which was great. But one of the neat things about Rotary, one place that I went to, the school that we're beginning to work with, they were singing the praises of Rotary because Rotary from UK had actually provided their water system that was able to serve not only them, but the people in the village around them. So it's neat to be a part of Rotary and just see the impact worldwide, that Rotary makes.
I want us to make aware one another and people that we contact of the wonderful things happening in the cultural life of this community. And none more specific and more welcome than this Saturday with the first concert of the Honor Orchestra from the 3 middle schools. It's been a long time coming when the middle schools together and now in the future, the high schools can finally have an orchestra in this community. My family moved here in 1948. I had been playing violin since I was in the 4th grade in Atlanta school before we came here. But there was nothing for orchestral music in LaGrange all the way through. Isabel Knight and I were the only violin students in the high school time that we were there. And it just, we've never had this before. It is a wonderful time, and it's so much owed to Callie Hammond and those wonderful people working with her that bring this to fruition. So Saturday, 2 o'clock, Callaway Auditorium, the Honor Orchestra. It's for concert.
To add to some more cultural events coming up, LSPA, the Theater Academy production of A Midnight Summer's Dream is this week. It is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. at 7 o'clock and Sunday at 3 at LSPA Black Box Theater on Bull Street. And then next week, as we've already talked about, is a storytelling festival. We'll have Donald Davis here next week, and we'll have all of these other tellers here as well. And we hope you can come then. Friday, 3 chances on Saturday, 1 on Friday, and 2 on Sunday. So we hope you can be there. Thanks.
I did not bring visual aids, but it's good to see the sun shining, and it's good to know that springtime is right around the corner. And in honor of that, one of the first golf tournaments will be kicking off on March 23rd, Thursday. It'll be to support the mission and the work of Count Paula, one of the Lord's very special places that exist right here in Troup County. So I'll try to bring some brochures to put out next week, but if you have an interest in participating in the golf tournament or being a whole sponsor to sponsor Count Paula, feel free to let me know, or if you happen to know Spencer Hutchinson or Bubba Jeter, they're actually the 2 organizers, and we would appreciate your support for this very worthwhile endeavor. Thank you.
In honor of Black History Month, I'd like to honor some unusual people today. In Troup County, I'd like to honor Mr. Clark, who was school superintendent in 1956, and I like also the Calvin Foundation. In 1956, they teamed up with a little short lady she was a little 4 feet tall, Mrs. Ethel W. Kite. She consolidated several county schools into 2 schools here in Troup County, Mount Pleasant Elementary School and Ethel W. Kite School, that went from the 1st grade all the way to the 12th grade. She contributed so much to education. Honoring her and Mr. Clark and the Callaway Foundation in this Black History Month.
Thank you, everybody. I was a little worried when he said he's going to recognize unusual people. I thought we'd be here all night. But, and there's some kind of election coming up, I believe, right? Coming up soon?
Yeah.
Okay. Be aware of that. A couple important things to vote on in March. I don't know what's the date.
21st.
21st. So be aware of that. Thanks, y'all. Dee, if you'll come on up and introduce our program.
I think we have a wonderful program today. I'm going to introduce Mitch Cummings, and Mitch is going to introduce his team. Mitch and his wife, Jamie, moved to LaGrange in 2004 from Tallahassee, Florida, after he was promoted Senior Government Accounts Manager for the Pitney Bowes Corporation. After a successful 31-year career with Pitney Bowes, he retired in June of 2018. Of course, Mitch was not quite ready to retire, so he reached out to see what kind of local opportunities there were, and he decided to use his retired time as a code enforcement person with the LaGrange Police Department. And as doing that, he is in constant contact with the public. He makes direct contact with citizens to identify environmental code violations, illegal dumping of trash, and property maintenance, abandoned cars. And in doing so, he constantly runs into the homeless, and that sort of started the program he's going to talk about today. Mitch and his wife, Jamie, have been married for 44 years. They have a grown son and a daughter-in-law. They're both very active members of St. Mark's Episcopal Church, and the church is very involved in this program, and he'll talk about that. In addition to the church activities, Mitch and his wife enjoy West Point Lake, traveling, and they're looking forward to spoiling their grandchildren that are coming up. So let's give a big warm welcome to Mitch Cummings.
I'm gonna put that in there because everybody else is doing it. I know So, good afternoon. What a great looking group. That just a little bit. So, Dee, thank you for that introduction, and thank you, Rotary Club, for allowing us to join you today and come in and talk to a very special and important outreach program that we have begun here at St. Mark's Church. But before I get started, I would like to introduce the other two individuals that helped me, Dee, kick this program off. And they're at our table here, and that is Pat Barton and Beverly Bartlett. So if you would, it's an instrument. Pat and Beverly were instrumental in helping us get this program off the ground and continue to lead that program each month. So I want to go back about a year and a half to October of 2021. Pat, Beverly, and I were sitting at Gus's Grill having breakfast. You know, you all are familiar with that. And as Dee said, with my job at the LPD Code Enforcement, it places me in direct contact with homeless people on a weekly basis. As the conversation evolved, I mentioned an idea about creating something as a leave behind for these people in need of resources. Pat and Beverly were all in from the get-go. Our initial discussion centered on food, but quickly evolved into other items to provide toothbrushes, deodorant, wet wipes, and other personal hygiene products. We then discussed how the program, our initial discussion centered on the food, and then we discussed how the program could be funded by the church, individuals, or both. We knew we would need the buy-in from our priest, Alan Pruitt, and hopefully St. Mark's Church families. We all agreed that there was a definite need, and we had the passion to try to move the idea forward. November of 2021, the three of us got together again to determine the what, the when, the where, and how we would take to fund, launch, and operate the program. We also decided on a name at that time, the Blessing Bags Outreach Mission. Pat had mentioned that Dee had previously been introduced to a Rotary project in Warm Springs, and that he might help us get this one started. So we reached out to Dee. He said he had input from Lori Lewis with the Meriwether County Rotary program on contents that we would put in the bags. Dee also had a resource for the actual bags themselves, and he could provide the initial inventory, which he did. We were now a team of 4. December 2021, after multiple meetings of the 4 of us, initial costs and inventory was projected and presented to the vestry, which is our board of directors of the church, and it was unanimously approved to move forward. Initial seed amount of $2,000 to support the program was included in the 2022 budget and approved by the vestry. The Blessing Bag mission was a go. January, a little over a year ago, we allocated space in the bottom of our church. The 4 of us met, determined that we wanted to include what we wanted to include in each bag. We decided we'd have water, healthy snacks, and all the hygiene products that we could assemble. We started making the parish family aware of our new outreach program, and it was immediately supported personally and financially. Pat and Beverly took the lead to shop for the initial inventory that would be needed for the launch. They agreed that February would be the official launch of our Blessing Bag mission. After many hours of planning, preparing, purchasing, and stocking shelves with inventory, the team was ready. February a year ago, the team met on the first Saturday in February to pick, pack, and deliver the Blessing Bags to the homeless. That month, we prepared 35 bags. It was a wonderful experience to work together to create the needed items for those less fortunate and have a positive impact within the community. March of last year to today, the program has continued to grow each month in support and quality of the delivered products. We now create 45 to 50 bags each month and have added socks, Mylar blankets, caps, and mittens as part of the inventory we deliver each month. We also provide bags to the LaGrange Police Department and the Troup County Sheriff's Department for them to hand out to the citizens in need. In addition to that, we also take bags to New Horizons and LaGrange Personal Aid. Our parish family supports this mission and with their generous donations completely covers the cost each month. It has been a resounding success from the very first month, and today remains a vital program for those that are less fortunate or might feel forgotten. With that said, we brought you a visual to kind of look at what we have, and I'll show you some of the contents. Each bag, these are the bags that Dee provided us, and they're actually backpacks too. So you'll probably see people, if you haven't already, around town. And we deliver these to the homeless people. Us being with code enforcement, we know where they're hanging out. And I know there'll be some conversations that, how do we help them more? We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. The way they purchase or do the bags, we have the hygiene products, and we have food products, and we have water. We also have a bag for them to put their trash in. I mentioned that the church is providing for all the needs for this. We created this blessing bag tree and created these cards, and people that come to our church and our parishioners, they'll take a card each month, and it's already got the items that we need them to purchase. So they go and purchase the items at their cost. We will reimburse them, but they donate. And then they bring these cards back and the contents back to the church. And that's how the bags get filled by our volunteers. Then on the first Saturday each month after the 20th, excuse me, let me back up. Our members take the card, purchase the items, then leave them at the church for us to assemble. We do that by the 25th of each month. Then on the first Saturday of each month after the 25th, the blessing bag teams and the volunteers meet, pick, pack, and deliver the bags here in LaGrange. Currently, it costs us approximately $15 per bag for the contents and the bags themselves. That's for the contents only. All the cost to buy the inventory, assemble the contents, pack and deliver the bags are donated by the team and its volunteers. The labor cost that we save goes back to us being able to prepare more bags. So in closing, I can share with you that this has been one of the most embraced outreach programs that we've had at St. Lawrence. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes each month of our time and energy. However, the impact for the homeless, the elderly, and especially those that may feel forgotten is immeasurable. What it provides us is the motivation and desire to continue to administer and expand the important mission at St. Mark's Church. It has been my experience through code enforcement that most people don't choose to be homeless. Usually there's an unforeseen circumstance that creates the issue: loss of income, loss of job, unaffordable housing, and mental health issues. Yes, there's cases where they've made bad decisions, drug abuse, alcohol addiction. But even then, they are still people struggling in life. We all need to need and deserve assistance, no matter what the circumstances may be. We would encourage you all to consider beginning your own programs within your Rotary, your churches, your businesses, and if we can assist in any way, please let us know. So with that said, I'll be glad to entertain any questions if you have on the blessing bags or code enforcement. If not, thank you very much. Dee?
Why don't you go through like the food bag and show people what's in there?
And just to give you a visual on how we do this, we've got our own room downstairs for the blessing bag room, and they lay it out in tables. And it's really just an assembly line. And we get 5, 6, 7, 8 people one time a month. Volunteers come in, and it's almost too many sometimes because we're in tight space, but they really have got it down to a science. And they start picking from one end and go through and make the loop for all these bags. So the contents, they've got chips in here, and they've got raisins, biscuits, but most of it's nutrition. We try to make it nutrition. And then the hygiene products, toothbrushes, hand sanitizers, the socks. Again, as I mentioned, we also have gloves and caps now that we're providing them. Yes, sir.
Just more about, do you find that the homeless are itinerant, passing through, or a mixture of here long-term, or what?
So there's two answers to that question. The short answer is most of them live here and have been here for many, many years. However, there are cases where they've been brought in from another county and left in Truth County to fend their ways. And it's at a cost to every county where these homeless people are at. We hope to have conversations one day. We mentioned that we want to grow the program. I would love to have the city get involved in having a couple of acres and making a place for them to live, because we're cleaning up after them anyway. And if they're in one area and they have to abide by certain rules, and it's a clean and has plumbing and that type of thing, I think it could be something that people would embrace. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Would you also tell us about the warming center when the temperature drops, how we're working with the warming center?
We are
planning to extend that.
Yes, sir, and they have expanded the warming center in, I think it was Rocky Grace's old property, commercial property. And if you haven't toured that place, you should do it as a group. It's a comfortable place for them to go. I think it's under 35 degrees. If it gets under 35 degrees, they open it up. And people can go, get a hot shower, get something to eat, sleep in a warm place. Yes, sir.
I got a statement for you. I want to thank you so much for what you just said about no one chooses to be homeless, even though there are some in the country probably they would like to believe that.
Right.
So thank you for that statement. And also, too, now I got a question for you. What do you think can be done to curb so much homelessness here in LaGrange?
You know, it just takes a village, you know, and it takes more people getting involved. It takes more churches and more individuals to go see these persons. We had a group of them, a large group of them, living under the Hogansville Bridge last year on the old CSX track, and which is now going to be another part of the thread. And it was hard to move them out of there because they've been there for a while. But they're under that bridge and they're not hurting anybody except when they light a fire. Can't have smoke coming out. And the position of the city is right now, if we find them, we ask them to leave. If the property owners get us involved, obviously we have them moved. But it's up to the property owners to pay attention to what's going on in their properties. We can't be everywhere. We respond. There's homeless people that live over by Walmart. There's homeless people that did live under the bridge. There's homeless people that live out by the mall. And when we find them, we ask them to move. We can do criminal trespassing on them, but most of them, they're understandable. They're just trying to get by. We do check them to make sure they don't have any warrants when we approach them. We get their name and we get their birthday. But if I had to guess, there's probably an active group of 50 homeless people in town that just kind of move around town as we push them along. They don't have a place to go out of town, you know. In certain situations, if we can buy them a bus ticket, if they want to go to Jacksonville, the police department will buy the bus ticket. And again, it helps them, but it also helps the city too, because it's a cost to us.
You talked about a place with what, on an acre or two, what does that look like that you've seen or think would work? Is it like tents or modular homes?
Well, tents more than anything else. There's a pilot program up in Atlanta right now that if we can get the right people, we would go up there and just kind of look at that and see that as a model for us. Bring those ideas back, present them to the mayor and the city council, and see if they're willing to consider the idea. We've got a lot of legwork to do before we get to that point, but it is another step in the process to help people. Yes, sir.
I thought I heard you mention that you'll do a criminal background check.
We can do a criminal background check. We check them if they have any warrants.
When you said that, I spent some time talking to some of the people at the warming center. One of the things I heard from quite a few people was that they don't have an ID. I wonder if there's any way the city or the college or West Georgia Tech or places that create IDs for people could help the homeless be who they are, so they could start the process of, okay, this is who I am now. Maybe I can apply for a job.
Right. I think that's a great idea. And if we can get somebody to partner with us, the police department certainly would help with those checks. And to your point, what it does, it validates a person, that they can go someplace and that they're harmless. They just are trying to get by. You've seen these people at the convenience stores. You've seen them, at multiple stores. You've seen them at Publix shopping center. We use these to diffuse issues sometimes. The police department does. They'll pull the bag out and you're just being caring and understanding their plight. Yes, you still got to move them on. You can't be just sitting out here in front of Publix, and especially panhandling. You can't do that at all. So it's a difficult balance, but LPD is very sympathetic to it. Chief Deckmar always was, and code enforcement is too.
We do something similar with the Salvation Army.
Okay.
You probably know, y'all code enforcement comes out with us on Fridays.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then, like I said, I've been up under the bridges, in where Walmart. As you said, we have fires up under the bridges. And another thing you said about space, I was in Cuba for Operation Sea Signal, making the military. So, like the 2 acres or 3 acres, whatever we would have, if the city was to do it, the Navy city would we put up like, the United States spend $1 million a day for hooches to have homeless to stay. So those people that are homeless, then we would feed them,
right,
shower, and that makes it more like a city. It's pretty good.
Well, the more resources we can provide these people, and especially if they're in a concentrated place where you can give them additional resources while you have them there. Yeah. You give them job interviews, you give them IDs. That's where you really start gaining the real balance of it. We're 10 till, so I'm not going to take any more of your time. Feel free to call me at any time. Dee's got my contact information. If we can help you with code enforcement, or if you have people on your property that you need assistance with, we'll be glad to help you. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. And since we do have a couple more minutes, I'm going to ask you, outside of the homeless, what is the main thing you get called to check in on for code enforcement working for the city? I don't live in the city, so I don't care, but go. What's the main thing or the primary thing you get called out for in code enforcement in the city?
Trash and litter.
People being trash and litter.
Yeah, it's all over the city. Unfortunately, we get it cleaned up. And it's very much bad. You can't control every citizen.
Right.
You can't. Some people just do.
We don't have that problem out county, so it's let's just be a city problem. Anyway. Now, thank you so much, and in honor and greatest appreciation of your speaking, we'll be making a donation to Polio Plus, which is Rotary's initiative to eradicate polio worldwide. Don't forget, next week's Azalea Storytelling Festival. Be sure to say hi and talk more with mentioned guests. And if you haven't met Kim Smith or Brent Gibbs, where's Kim? There she is. Newest members, be sure and introduce yourself today. We are adjourned.